The Dallas Cowboys are still looking to make a big move at wide receiver, something that fans have been anxiously waiting for all offseason. With free agency well underway, the Cowboys find themselves needing to bolster quarterback Dak Prescott's arsenal if they hope to seriously challenge the Philadelphia Eagles and Washington Commanders in the NFC East this season. After veteran receiver Brandon Cooks returned to New Orleans Saints, Dallas now faces a significant gap at wideout. Outside of star receiver CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert currently projects as the next man up. That's far from the firepower this offense needs. The front office is now expected to address the position, likely through a veteran signing, but also potentially with an early round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Interestingly, one name that's now being floated around as a potential target is Stefon Diggs. Yes, Stefon Diggs. According to CBS Sports, the Cowboys could make a move for the veteran wide receiver, who's currently rehabbing from a torn ACL suffered last season with the Houston Texans. What makes this connection even more intriguing is that the Cowboys had previously tried to land Cooper Kupp before he ultimately joined the Seattle Seahawks. That shows just how eager Dallas is to find a polished route runner to pair with Lamb. Now, Stefon Diggs might not be Kupp, but the two share similar skill sets. Both are elite route runners with reliable hands, and both thrive in creating separation. Diggs, now 31, is just a year removed from posting over 1,100 receiving yards as part of Josh Allen's high-powered Buffalo Bills offense. Even after his injury, it's hard to ignore the production he's had throughout his career. 857 receptions, over 10,400 yards, and 70 touchdowns. Plus, there's a family connection. Stefon's younger brother, Trayvon Diggs, is already a key star on the Cowboys' defense. That relationship could be a major factor if Dallas gets serious about pursuing Stefon. Of course, coming off a major injury and entering the twilight of his career, any deal would likely be a one-year, prove-it contract. That scenario could work perfectly for Dallas. Low risk, potentially high reward. Diggs wouldn't be expected to carry the offense, but rather serve as a critical piece alongside Lamb, helping Dak Prescott stretch the field and giving this passing game a much-needed boost. The big question now is, will Jerry Jones pull the trigger? Could the Cowboys finally give Dak another proven weapon and close the gap in the NFC East race? Or will they roll the dice in the draft instead? Either way, the clock is ticking, and Dallas fans know this team is just one big move away from making serious noise. Stay tuned. The Dallas Cowboys are facing some major decisions as they head into the 2025 NFL Draft. But one Cowboys legend isn't holding back about who he thinks should be the team's top priority. Hall of Famer and three-time Super Bowl champion Michael Irvin has made it crystal clear he wants the Cowboys to draft Boise State running back Ashton Janney in the first round. During a recent appearance on Up and Adams with Kay Adams, Irvin didn't mince words. He called Janney a true difference maker, someone who could completely transform the Cowboys' struggling offense. "I'm hoping Janney is there," Irvin said. "He is a difference maker. And honestly, it's hard to argue with him." Janney is coming off a historic season at Boise State, where he finished as a runner-up for the 2024 Heisman Trophy behind Colorado's Travis Hunter. In his junior year, Janney racked up an eye-popping 2,601 rushing yards and 29 touchdowns on 374 carries, averaging an incredible 7 yards per attempt. Those are video game numbers. Irvin even went as far as to compare Janney's potential impact in Dallas to that of Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith, calling Janney a different dude, and recalling the moment Emmitt arrived and changed the franchise forever. That's high praise from a man who knows championship-caliber football when he sees it. And let's face it, the Cowboys desperately need help in the backfield. In 2024, Dallas finished a disappointing 27th in the league in rushing, averaging just over 100 yards per game. That's a far cry from the ground-and-pound identity that once defined this team. The last time Dallas invested a first-round pick in a running back was back in 2016, when they selected Ezekiel Elliott 4th overall. Zeke went on to become one of the most productive backs in franchise history, racking up over 8,200 rushing yards and 80 total touchdowns in his first 7 seasons. That move paid off, at least early on, and now, Irvin believes it's time to double down on that strategy. Of course, there's always a question of draft positioning, and whether Janney will still be on the board when the Cowboys are on the clock. After a season like that, it's very possible another team with backfield needs snatches him up early. But if he's there, Irvin's message couldn't be clearer. Dallas needs to make the pick. Adding a player like Ashton Janney could instantly revive the Cowboys' run game, ease the pressure off Dak Prescott, and restore some balance to an offense that's become too one-dimensional in recent years. Janney has the explosiveness, vision, and toughness to be the workhorse back this team has been missing. Now, all eyes are on the Cowboys' front office. Will they listen to one of the greatest players in franchise history? Will they pull the trigger and bring in a dynamic runner capable of carrying the load like Zeke once did, or even like Emmett? One thing's for sure. Michael Irvin has spoken, and his endorsement of Ashton Janney just added a whole lot of intrigue to the Cowboys' draft plans. The Dallas Cowboys have found themselves at the center of another big trade rumor, one that, if it ever came true, could completely reshape their offense heading into the 2025 season. Two former NFL players are stirring the pot, pushing for the Cowboys to make a bold move for Miami Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill. And while there's no official indication that Dallas is working on such a deal, the idea is already generating serious buzz. And for good reason. Let's break it down. Right now, the Cowboys have the financial firepower to make almost any move they want. Sitting on nearly $40 million in cap space, they're in the top 10 in the NFL in terms of spending flexibility. Combine that with a glaring need at the number 2 wide receiver spot, and it's no surprise that fans and analysts alike are calling for a splash. Dak Prescott needs another weapon. CeeDee Lamb needs a running mate. And, according to former NFL quarterback Kurt Benkert, Tyreek Hill could be that guy. Benkert took to social media and said he wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins traded Hill on draft night. And his top 2 landing spots? Dallas and Baltimore. For the Cowboys, he argued, adding Hill would give them the explosive firepower needed to stay competitive in a stacked NFC East. It would also force defenses to shift their focus away from Lamb, giving both receivers more room to operate, and making life much easier for Prescott. And honestly, he's not wrong. Pairing Tyreek Hill with CeeDee Lamb would instantly create one of the most dangerous receiving duos in the league. Maybe the most dangerous. It's the kind of move that would make headlines and put the rest of the NFC on notice. But of course, it's not that simple. There are some big concerns with this potential trade. First, Tyreek Hill comes with baggage. Off the field, he's had his share of controversies, and he's one of those players who always seems to stay in the headlines for one reason or another. That a factor Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office would have to weigh carefully. On the field, Hill is still electric, but at 31 years old, there are signs of a slight decline. Last season, he caught 81 passes for 959 yards and 6 touchdowns. Not bad, but not the game-breaking numbers we've seen from him in the past. Though to be fair, Miami's quarterback instability certainly didn't help. Then there's the money. Tyreek is due a massive $28 million this season. While there's an out in his contract after 2025, any deal would have to involve some serious financial maneuvering. Maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys could get the Dolphins to absorb part of that salary if Miami really wants to move on. And believe it or not, Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith has also thrown his support behind the idea. Emmitt recently said, maybe we need to go after Tyreek Hill, someone that can go down the field and give CeeDee Lamb a chance to work underneath. And he's absolutely right about one thing. The Prescott-led offense needs more weapons. Right now, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, and the rest of the depth chart just haven't shown they can be consistent playmakers. Dallas needs a true downfield threat, someone who can create separation and stretch the field. So, is Tyreek Hill the perfect answer? Maybe. Maybe not. But the concept is exactly right. The Cowboys have to find another elite receiver if they're serious about contending this year. If it's not Hill, it needs to be someone who can open up the offense and make life easier for Lamb and Prescott. One thing's for sure, if Dallas pulls the trigger on a move like this, it would be the kind of splash that shakes up the entire league. Cowboys fans would love it. The NFC East would fear it. And it might just be the missing piece this team needs. Stay tuned.